So how's it going, my comic channel? I'm over here today with Chris Brown, the writer of Welcome to Slaughterville. How you doing, Chris?
All right, you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
It just hit me that your name is Chris Brown, like the singer.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
hear that a couple times.
yeah. Probably gets old quick, doesn't it?
It don't bother me.
So is Welcome to Slaughterville your first book ever?
Welcome to Slaughterville is my first graphic novel. I've written novels before, and my main thing is I'm a board game designer.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
I seen you had a board game named the same.
Hmm.
Does the two coincide? Do you need
Yeah.
one without the other?
Uh, the comics are uh, see with my games, I like to let people tell their story. So the comic is my way of saying this is what happens if I were to play the game. So it's my way to tell my story of it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Uh, is the board game out?
Oh yeah, I've been making this for over 10 years. Yep,
Really?
I'm actually on the fourth uh, expansion, I guess you would say, for Slaughterville. Yep, yeah. I also have Gods of Metal and Gone Hunting that we just finished distribution or shipping that out to backers. I also have the Slaughterville RPG that's live right now. So yeah,
Yeah.
we got a lot going on, baby.
Hey, I love it. So tell us about the board game. When did that start? 10 years ago.
Yeah. Um, well, I always liked horror stuff, and I started playing all these different board games, and it was pretty narrow what you could do with them. So I wanted to make a board game where you could play all of your favorite horror movie stuff in one box, and that's what this does. Is it gives you the town of Slaughterville to explore, and you use the different villains that we have, like the zombie horde, the cannibal rednecks, which we're going to show you in a minute, the cannibals, the slasher, the werewolf we call the beast within, and they change up how the base game plays. So the slasher is just going to come out, hunt you, and try to kill you. That's her job. She's our Jason Voorhees, but not. And the beast within is our werewolf, and you can either cure the werewolf by performing a ritual, finding the special items, or you can kill it if you can. But I mean, it's going to be a hard fight, but you can go that way if you wish. So yeah. In fact, our new expansion has not Tremors, which is the Vermes. We have the Bee Man, which is our Candy Man. Let's see. The Sleeper is our Jeepers Creepers, and then we have Mirror Town, where now you're the bad guys, and you're trying to cause all the mayhem as the players.
So is this like a turn based or like a how do
Hmm.
what is it
Yep.
like? Go ahead.
No, no, please.
No, do you like roll a dice? Like, is it kind of like I think the last board game I kind of played was like Monopoly and Candyland. Is it like turn based like that?
It is. Each player is going to get a turn. Um, it's going to be all the players, and then the villain gets a turn. And the villain is AI. It's automatically. It has a deck of cards that you draw, and then it tells you what the villain's going to do. It has abilities on its villain card, and but each player is either going to move, which you can move from one location in the town to another, and then you encounter, which is you overturn a card at that location. So you might find an enemy, item, some kind of event, something is going to be happening in that town at all times. And you're trying to find items, clues, and allies to help you defeat whatever the villain is.
Sweet. See, I'm thinking like it's like a cardboard game, but this is online, right?
No, this is an in hand cardboard cards and dice board game.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
how did the AI work?
Well, the card that you draw for the villain is going to say this is what the villain does, and then the villain mat also has an ability that says on the villain turn, do this, and it'll give you choices sometimes or conditions depending on what's being met. Like we have the Dream Demon, which is our Freddy Krueger. So if he's in the dream world, he's going to get one ability. If he's in the real world, he's going to have another ability that he's going to have to do. So again, that's just all the things I had to plan out for each of these to work properly.
Yeah. How many players can play at one time?
up to 6. And technically, we have 72 different characters that you can be. I mean, if you wanted to really take a long time, you could play all 72, but that would take a day for one turn, kind of a thing.
What's the longest game you've played so far?
Probably about 2.5, 3 hours.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um, where can people pick the game up if they want to get it?
Again, we have the Laughing Rogue Facebook, so you can reach out to me on there. Right now, we have the. I didn't make it available on the Slaughterville RPG campaign because I wanted to keep that separate. But if you reach out to me through that too, you can easily get a hold of me.
Okay. And the RPG is online?
The RPG is up and live running. Now, again, please forgive me. I'm not as familiar with Skype as I am with things like StreamYard. How can I get you to share a link for me?
Just you can send it to me and I'll add it in at the end.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, I think I did send you the link to the RPG. Okay. But yeah, that's the one where, again, it's live now. We're at like 500-600% funded.
Nice.
We unlocked a bunch of stretch goals. Gave players a free villain, some dice, and all this other stuff, so you get to play.
Sweet.
All good, all good.
So, is the comic separate?
Oh yeah, it's the same quote unquote universe. But the thing about Slaughterville is it's a malleable town where the geography, everything changes. Right, the people that live in the town, they don't notice this stuff. Sorry, I almost.
No, you're good. You can cuss.
But they don't notice what's going on. So, for instance, if you had a movie theater there one day, and the next day it's a police station, to the people of the town, it's always been a police station. They don't know any better. But you guys, the players, the readers, are awake. You know you notice these strange things that are going on and the oddities in the town. So when their aunt goes missing because they were eaten by zombies, stuff happens.
Yeah. Right.
But you notice it as something a little bit on the odd side.
All right.
Yep.
How big is this board? Like, is it?
Well, in the game, you take 6 different locations. Now we have about 20 of them, and you build the town using only 6 locations, so that you can explore it that way. So there's a ton of variety for this thing.
Okay,
And
so it's all cards. It's not like a board game. And
exactly, it's
got
cards
you. Right.
and the mats. I have a copy around everywhere usually, but I don't have one around here. It must be in my demo box for conventions because I go to conventions too. The director's cut it's not in stock anymore because this thing sold like mad, right? It was maybe this big, 14 pounds of game. I'm swear to God, thousands of cards.
Yes.
And to make them all work together was the biggest challenge. But the comic book, the RPG and stuff, they all build on that universe. I know it's pretentious to say universe thing, but it builds on the mythos of this town that I made. And what's actually funny is my buddy Jeff. He's the one that came up with the name Slaughterville. I'm like, what am I going to name this town? Because I knew I wanted a horror town. I knew I wanted it to be something where every horror movie took place. And I'm like, what can we call this? And he comes up with this name. Well, it turns out like a year or so later, I found out there's a Slaughterville, Oklahoma. I am trying to get down there to play Slaughterville in that town so bad. It's one of my just stupid dream goals to do.
What state are you in?
I'm in PA.
Okay.
Yeah, I've driven to Texas once. It took me about 24 hours straight. But yeah, but I want to get to Slaughterville, Oklahoma so bad just to play the game there. Hell, I'd give it to the mayor or anybody. Just have.
Yeah, right. See if you can set that up.
I know, right?
That'd be a pretty cool video.
That would be promotion right there.
Oh yeah. What cons do you have planned this year?
I always attend Save Against Fear, which is it's run by the Bodana Group, and they use role-playing games as a way for helping kids with therapy. So it gets them to play.
Sweet.
while at the same time, yeah, real good people. Um, I'm also going to one in Allentown, PA. That's a comic book convention, but I try to get to some of the ones like out near Pittsburgh and Philly because they're not too far from me. I've been to Baltimore once or twice, but
Is
yeah.
is there a pretty good mix between comic book and game conventions? Or are they kind of
Oh,
rolled into one?
it is. It wasn't before, to be honest. But over the last couple of years, I've seen anime break into the comic book conventions. Anime, manga, however you want to say it. They brought RPGs in. Then from there, it brought regular board games. So now it is not uncommon at all to see board game vendors and comic books at the same thing.
Sweet. I
Yeah.
think you might no. I think you're our second. No, you're our first to ever have your own board game, but you're the second person I've interviewed that plays board games. What advice would you give to anyone out there that wants to make their own board game?
Make it for you. If you don't love it, nobody else will. And don't be afraid to throw stuff out because if it's making it too complicated, throw it in the shit. Yeah.
Right? Do you have like a test group that you play all the new stuff and bounce off of?
Yep. I have quite a few people, and then what I will do is I'll make demo copies, and then I will just send them out to randoms. Whoops. I will send them out to random people so that this way I don't want to be there when they play it because if I'm there, I can give the advice.
Mm.
And then I don't know if they really had trouble with the rule book or if they really enjoyed it or not. But by letting them be by themselves, uh, it gives their more accurate and honest opinion.
Sweet.
Yeah, don't be afraid of critics, man. It's uh, you're gonna have jackasses everywhere, but for the most part, try to stick with the people that will tell you the truth and but be constructive about it.
Okay.
Anybody can say this sucks, but no, not everybody can say, "Hey, I like this, but this was kind of weird a bit." And believe me, I've had it a lot, so I mean, it helps as long as you're able to take it.
So, do you have like a starter pack for newcomers and experienced players?
Uh, what do you mean a starter pack?
Like if like newcomers that's never played the game before, is it all like one box for like?
Well, yeah, right now I have the Slaughterville 2, which is one box. It's a standalone. And inside are is it 6 or 8 different villains? And I do have them ranging from simple to more complex,
Okay,
just to give players a nice variety. Yeah.
sweet.
But honestly, if you want to just get into board gaming, grab Betrayal at House on the Hill, Lords of Waterdeep, um, Tokaido, Ticket to Ride, that kind of a thing. That's going to get you started in it, and they're simple to learn and fun to play.
So, is this like a team up type of game? You got to
Oh
team
yeah,
up and yeah. All right.
yeah.
No lone wolves.
There's one villain that I have called the Demon Raiser, which is our Hellraiser thing, and the Demon Raiser has taken you and the other players into hell, and there's only one person that's allowed to escape. So you have to run through the hell version of the town and try to trip up, kill, trap, and maim and murder the other people. That is our only competitive one. Um, but I wanted to make sure we put one in there.
I like it. So, tell us about your graphic novel comic book.
Sure, sure. Uh, I have this is my well, the issue we're working on is the third one, and the first book is the Beast Within. It's our werewolf. It's the intro for it. Let me pull that. Now you know comics pretty well. Do you
Yeah.
know Mark? Do you know Mark McKenna at all?
No.
Okay, he used to do like Justice League, Spider Man, all those things back then for Marvel and
Okay.
DC, and he did this. Why on God's glorious green earth is that blurry? Unblur my background. There we go.
There you go.
But anyway, he did this cover for me. No, or no, this was Luke. I lied to you. That was Luke. Um, this was Mark's. He did this
Yeah.
one. But this one is the starting of the story, and it's Beth and John. Um, Beth's youngest sister was killed in Slaughterville when they were kids. That's like the second page. No spoilers, really. She was eaten by a werewolf. And after she grew up, Beth left the town and said, I'm never coming back. So, well, years later, when she's with John, that's her fiance there, she gets a call that her other sister went missing. So now she's drawn back into the town and she has to find out where her sister is and what's going on. So that's the first book. The second book is The Slasher. That's our Jason Voorhees. The slasher, you know how Jason usually hangs around with Camp Crystal Lake. Well, again, think of Slaughterville like the town where all of it happens. So normally the slasher stays in the lake area, the campground. Well, now she's free. She's wandering the town. Why is she wandering? How can you stop this massive mayhem? And again, that's what happens in the board game too. The slasher's free and she walks through the town, and it's your job to send her back to the lake. So these books are the analog story to what is really going on in the games themselves.
I like it. So is each issue like a one shot?
No, they do go together. Yep. And I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, there's a big we'll call it a parting shot at the end of book one. That's a big driver for the rest of the series for a while.
How many issues do you have planned?
12.
12?
Yeah. And they're usually between 40. Well, the first one was 48 pages. The next one was 56. This one, the third one, was intended to be 64, but we found a few spots where we could put it would look so much better with a double pager or a full. So I'm like, dude, go for it. And if I could show you, yeah. Again, I wish I could share this here.
Do you have pictures on your Kickstarter?
Not of the comic, no, because the Kickstarter is for the role playing game. And the comic I'm going to be launching probably next month.
Okay.
Most likely next month, yeah.
All right.
But let me now. I have your. My brain hadn't frozen for a second. I have your Facebook Messenger here because I did want to show you these pictures, if you don't mind.
Yeah, Adam. At the interview, I'll put the pictures in here so everybody at home can see it too.
Okay. Well, I'll send you all of those, and like you said, we can put them in. But it goes from, it says 1 for the page, but it's really like page 10, and it's our big reveal splash, just showing how depraved these cannibal rednecks are.
All right.
I cannot wait to show everybody. Honestly, that's the section that my wife won't read. She's read all my other stuff, so she's used to the horror. But when I put that in there, she's like, I can't believe you did that. I'm like, yep, I did.
That is definitely wild. I haven't seen anything like that before.
Yeah, I try to make it interesting, make it something that you'd want to see. I was talking to, I'm sure you know Mike Barron.
I don't.
Oh, he's the guy that wrote The Punisher for all those years, and then he just did Private American, Thin Blue Line, and Bronze Star.
Yeah.
So I was talking to him, and he gave me a lot of advice on doing things like that, those big movie moments that are so vital to any of these books, making you want to turn the page and see what's going on. So I'm not saying blame him, but I'm just saying there was an influence. Let's put it that way.
Right. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
No, I really appreciate you having me on, though, and I'm glad you've been here for 4 years. I'm looking forward to a lot more of them.
Well, thank you. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to come talk with me.
Well, it was a good one.
What? You mean you haven't subscribed to Comic Chat Authority? Oh, come on, subscribe already. What are you waiting for? It's no big deal. Like, man, don't forget to tell him to hit that like button. Yeah, that too. Just subscribe.